Hey, you looking for some secrets? I got them right here. I'm Wieczorek, and I've got this podcast. It's called Chicago Real Estate Secrets, and I'm going to share those secrets with you. I'm going to have the top producers and other real estate innovators in our area, and they're going to tell you everything you need to know how to make that money. So tune in every week and check it out.
All right, Mr. Graham Allen, thank you, sir. I appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely.
Before we started recording, guys, I did, if you can see Graham right now, I did think he had antlers for a moment. There he is.
There we go. Right. There we go.
So, Mr. Graham, we want everybody to know who really is on the podcast today. So if you could give us a little breakdown on exactly who Graham Allen is outside of being a fantastic realtor with antlers, we sure would appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I am a 11-year real estate veteran, dude. I would say undisputed, according to my mother, undisputed realtor of the world, best realtor ever. But dude, I am a golf enthusiast and a fucking hard worker. Texas born, right? Texas born and raised. Moved up to Chicago about 12 years ago. So yeah, man, I'm a hardworking Texas kid that likes to play golf and make a lot of money.
Absolutely. That's the fun part about what we're doing. There is an opportunity to make some money while having fun, isn't there?
Right on.
So, as far as coming from Texas, did you do real estate in Texas, or did that start when you came here to Illinois?
No, so it's the kind of the weird thing, right? Like I feel like everybody has a different route into real estate. Nobody starts in real estate. I truly believe that it is a second or third job for a lot of people. And having done this for 11 years now, it seems like that as people come from different parts of the corporate world and stuff like that. I actually worked for NBC before. So I was a producer and director of commercials. So field and series kind of stuff. So I wrote, produced, directed with talent, and basically commercials for NBC to push out their programming. So I was on the creative side of that. My schedule sucked ass, man. It was, my mom's birthday is Christmas Eve. I missed both, my nephew, when he was born, I was there, but my nieces were gone for that. Schedule was just real kind of shit, and ended up leaving that after many years doing that and just kind of going, I don't have any time to myself. Came to Chicago, was still doing that in Chicago, left about 3 months after I got here and said, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to take some time, think about it, and really figure out what track that I'm doing. Out of college was a digital media. That was my major. That's all I'd ever known. I didn't know sales. I didn't know anything like that. Never had a sales job in my life. And then there was a small boutique real estate shop downtown Chicago. A buddy of mine had started it. Said, hey, why don't you just do so, if you want to make some cash, do some rentals, things like that. Just happened to, said, okay, great. Get, I don't know if it was like my 90-day or whatever it was, like leasing trial license thing. Started it, just hanging out with people, had some fun, jumped in, got my real estate license. This was literally in 2008, dude. So this was plane starting to nosedive, and I jumped on and said, look, you've got foreclosures and short sales, things like that. People who are underwater got to get out. There's money to be made here. So while every other realtor kind of jumped ship, I jumped on with a parachute, had a little bit of savings, but jumped on and said, let's see if I can actually kind of leverage this to an advantage. Did really well, rode it on the way back up, and have continued kind of soaring ever since. So by chance, completely by chance, just trying to find an opportunity to make some cash. And that's a lot of what motivates me is money. So.
What about it? What about it? What do you do with it?
Dude, it allows me, most important thing to me is my family, right? So it allows me to provide for my family. We don't have kids yet, but we want to go on a vacation. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to update some stuff in the house. Money provides for that. Money provides for me security. I grew up in a family that my dad did well, right? We didn't have to worry growing up. I wanted that same thing for my family. And so being a Texas kid, meeting my wife here, her doing kick-ass shit, man. I mean, just, and just soaring up the ladder and watching what she's making. Again, I'm that Southern guy that goes, hey, look, I'm supposed to be the breadwinner for my family, man. So I don't knock her for anything that she does. I am thoroughly impressed. I am way down the level as far as intelligence, I think, as compared to her. But for me, that is a minimum, man. I got to make the same, or I got to make more, because it's something that drives me, because that's just me. Like I'm not afraid to say that, she's had years, and definitely during tough years, right, that she's done better than me financially, but that bugs the shit out of me so bad, man.
Right on.
And it just drives me. I'm proud of her and everything that she does. It just, it's a driving force for me. So, but man, that money, it provides for stuff. People say, money doesn't give you happiness, but dude, it's a lot easier going through different things, when you do have a little bit of change in your pocket. So I always just kind of want to make sure that, that part I don't have to stress about.
I couldn't agree with pretty much every single piece of that. There's this stigma, right? Like, oh, money is evil. Those that get a lot of it must have betrayed somebody along the way. Why do you need it? Why do you want it? When you got it, why do you need more of it? Well, it's what you said. It's freedom.
It is. It absolutely. In a lot of aspects of life. Plus, we do a lot, man. I love one of the things that I love the most is to treat, right? So if that's to treat friends, and we go out as groups and as couples and as me, just and my boys, and we go out, I want to buy that round, not for anything, not that, I expect anything back. It just makes me feel good. And being able to do that, yet still know everything's good at home, that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy. Plus, buying some, Air Jordan golf shoes. So that kind of stuff, just on a whim, and going, sure, here's $230. I don't fucking care. Like, it's something. I am somebody that's going through relationship-wise, having been through a failed relationship, and realizing that money can go like that. People say money doesn't grow on trees. Well, guess what? Paper is made of a tree, right?
Sure does.
So I want to live in this moment. I want to buy what I want to buy. I want to do what I want to do. Put a little bit of that, those nuggets away. But knowing that no matter what, I'm going to figure out a way to succeed to make more of it. So I'm going to enjoy what I do now. So whatever I want to spend it on, man, that's what I do. as long as the missus says that it's okay.
Smart man. Smart man.
Otherwise I get beat down.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So there's, I flood my brain with, people that I aspire to be like, or like how their methodologies, if you will. Two people, one of them is Grant Cardone. I love his push.
I get it.
I love the way he, you and I are very similar to him in that some people are just in love with the amount of effort and the push that we have, and others are like offended by our passion. And when I've had to remind people, like, hey, I'm calling you because there's a real opportunity here for you and your family to benefit. And I apologize if you're confusing my passion to want to help with anything else. But I do feel that, like Grant says, people don't think about us as much as we think they do. And it's my opinion that you and I know we've had this as a sidebar conversation in the past, like, I feel like I need to get myself and my skill set in front of people, as many people as possible, because if they don't come with me, I just feel and know in my heart that they aren't getting the best service that they could get.
Dude, this is where I piss a lot of other realtors off, man. And it's a lot of it is the fact that, and there's one thing I think that a lot of people would disagree with me when I say this, but I am not an egotistic asshole. I'm not. But dude, like you, I know that if they're not listing with me, if they're not buying with me, they're not getting the best deal, they're not getting the best service, and it sucks, man. I don't think there's anybody as good as me with what I do. That's just what it is. And so I don't mean to be offensive or offend people by that, and by other realtors. A lot of the time, realtor, I guess, realtors are supposed to be, in this together, right? We're supposed to make both sides happy. We're supposed to do this, let's be on the same team and get a transaction done. Kumbaya, raise your fucking hand, like, let's high five it. That's not me. So this is a business. It's a transaction. It's a financial transaction for my side, and my side's gonna fucking win. Like that's all I care about. So my clients are happy. I don't care if the other side is not happy. I don't care if the other realtor gets their feelings hurt. It's not my deal. Like I've got a product. My seller wants to sell something. You better come with the game, because it won't be distasteful. It won't be, I won't throw anything. I won't get, mad or anything like that. But, my side's got to win. That's just all there is to it. So yeah.
I mean, whoever's raising their kids to tie with the next person, you're basically tying their legs together. They can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I want to be at the top, man. That's where I want to be. And for me, my top may be different than somebody else's, right? And it's different, a lot of these things that we see on TV, and those we need to aspire to be up there. Nah, man, I know where I want to be. I know where my business is going. I know where that is, and I know where I want it to stay. And once I'm there, I'm content. I'm not a greedy person. But I do know that, when I look around and I look at the competitors, that there is part of me, because of playing sports, part of me that wants to drive them into the ground, right? That just has to win. We can all play in the sandbox together. Well, I want this to be my sandbox. So, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. Some people don't understand it's sales, right? So it's a grant. It's sell or be sold. One way or the other, you're involved. You might as well be on, the winning side. I mean,
well, look, you got to think about it, right? That person is taking food off of your table, it's taking money out of your pocket. So if we look at it that way, it's not just helping our clients, but it's also, we know we're going to provide them with the best service, but it's also, that's what's going to help me provide, right? Yes. That's what's going to help me get to play that extra round of golf or take that trip and go somewhere. So you got to want it. You can't just be lazy. And I think a lot of the time there are a lot of lazy people that do one-offs, one here and one there. And I don't want them in this business. And I want to make sure that they don't survive in this business.
You're right.
I want the good ones too, because I want to work with them. And there are several, not a whole lot, but there's a handful of realtors that I really enjoy and I love working with.
Sure.
And I hope they stay in the game forever. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, get the hell out. That's just, there's enough. Everybody says there's enough for everyone. No, there's not. There's enough for me and about the 5 other realtors that I like. And guess what? We can all do a hell of a lot of business and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody else, get the fuck out. Just, yeah.
And I want for everybody listening to kind of not lighten up what you're saying, but let's not be confused here, because Graham is a fucking gangster of a realtor, because he is stern, he is confident, he does stand up for his client and know what where the line in the sand is, right? Or what the value of what they have is. And sure, we'll negotiate, but at the end of the day, it is what it is when it comes down to it, and we have other opportunities or whatever the case may be. But I'm speaking from experience. Graham and I just went through a transaction where, to get the deal done, the negotiations on the front end were a little lengthy, right? And then there was some renegotiations halfway through, and we had to have the seller actually reduce the purchase price. So I don't want anybody to think that Graham's like, it's this dollar or get out the door. It's just, we know what we have. We're going to fight when we need to fight. And then we're also going to close the deal when it's time to just close this deal for everybody. And so I want everybody to know, just listening to this guy is very versatile in how he can, represent his client, and how he knows what is the next right move. And that's super powerful because you don't come across it often. So I want to ask you this is where I know there's compassion and empathy within still everything that you described in your character.
Yeah.
And so I know that's important for everybody to understand. So how do you couple what you've explained with also that empathy, and where do they kind of collide in a transaction?
After we've come to terms.
Cool.
Once we have agreed upon terms. Now, what you were saying though is exactly right, Mike. I mean, there's a line in the sand that we do have. And I discuss this with my clients right up front, right? So we know what is a win scenario for us. We know what is a break-even scenario for us, and we know what we will not accept, okay? I 100% always have my client's best interests at heart, okay? So, we discuss all of that right up front. So going in, there's no hesitation. There's no looking back and going, well, maybe we should just do this. We've come with a plan. We work as a team. And we roll that way. I would say, everything gets a lot more relaxed, and because that's how the process and that's how to have a smooth transaction is once you come to terms, right? That's where all the posturing is. That's where all the negotiating is. That's where a lot of the feelings get hurt. But once that's done, it's almost like that reach across the aisle and go, hey, look, cool. We've gotten all of that out of the way. We've got all the, we've scooped out all the shit. Now it's just time to make our way to the closing. And then that's the part where I think, it's really the realtors start working together. And I think that's the only time we should be, quote unquote, working together. Working together prior to that is not doing our fiduciary responsibility to our clients.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Very good. So for those people that are listening, those realtors that are either struggling right now, or they're like, oh my God, right now I can't manage any of my clients all the way from start to finish because they are emotional. They have this going on. They have that going on. So if somebody were looking for a way to set those expectations, like you mentioned, and know where your lines are, right? Is there some insight you can give them on how you do establish that up front, so that if things, because this happens with us too. So if something comes up in process and they say, well, you said this or that, you say, well, no. And this is the example of what we did discuss. How do you set the expectation and then not have issues going back to reference it?
That's in great point and great question. So for me, it's all about setting the expectations and being unapologetically myself from the very beginning. So that means the moment I walk in the door and meet with a client from day one, from minute one, the first time that I speak with them, because there's got to be a connection and an understanding. You have to set those expectations. So first of all, here's who I am. I'm going to be transparent and open with you. If I disagree, it's not to belittle you or anything like that. It's simply because I disagree, and I want us to come back in our minds and think that, remember, I told you this, right? I told you who I am and what I'm thinking about in the process that we're going to go through. So I have lengthy listing appointments. A lot of people go, hey, this is the best amount of time you should spend on a listing appointment. This is the total amount. This is what you should say. Here are the scripts, all that. I have zero script when I walk into a listing presentation. It's all about feel, and because it's all about that relationship. If I don't have the right relationship and we don't get along and connect, then I can't set those expectations, right? So it's setting the expectations from the beginning and making sure that you stick to them. A lot of realtors though, and again, I asked some friends, how many realtors do you think I'm going to piss off during this thing? A lot of it has to do with the fact that they are completely fake when they walk through the door because they're buying listings. They're buying buyers. They're being as fake as can be. And then all of a sudden you try to manage expectations after the fact. You're the one that looks like the asshole, man.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't be one person in the beginning and then come back and try to get them to believe you in a different way later on. You have to be, if you're a bulldog in the beginning, you're a bulldog all the way through, but you can't be, this fluffy, Shih Tzu, whatever you are in the beginning, right? And go, okay, no, we're happy, fuzzy, feely, we're doing good. The market, we should be able to get this price for you. I think we can get what you think it's worth. And then later on go, nah, the market's just not giving that. Well, guess what? You screwed that up. So I think being honest, being transparent, owning your mistakes as well. But just from the very beginning, it's just setting expectations by setting up who you are and letting people know who you are.
Yeah.
That manages, it just makes everything so much easier. so that they believe you later on when you tell them something and go, look, keep in mind, this is what we're going through. You set that up in the beginning and you manage it from point one, you shouldn't have an issue down the line. It just shouldn't happen.
And for some, maybe that's common sense. Others, it's gold, literally, and make it common sense later. And what I tell people when they're saying, they're like, oh, you're always on, right? You're always on. Like, how are you always on it? And I'm like, on what? On work, because I don't have a work life integration or balance. It's just life.
We don't do, that's not how we work. We are on call 24/7.
Right.
That's what we do. My wife calls it, so when we're sitting out, so we were doing in the alley, because we have an alleyway by us here in Glen Ellen, and we were sitting around talking to people, and somebody asked me a question. It's a friend of mine asked me a question and said, hey, my wife immediately turns and looks at me and goes, uh-oh, realtor mode, in 3, 2, 1. And I'm like, this is just who I am. It's like, it's just part of our life. It's part of our lingo. It's part of, the way that we represent ourselves.
And help and serve. Honestly.
It 100% has everything to do with wanting that person to be happy, but also get the right knowledge so that they can do what's best for them and their family. It's because we care, man.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like bullshit, but it is true. It's because we care.
Yeah.
So,
and we found ourselves in a position where we can legitimately do something with the knowledge that we do genuinely care, because we can genuinely act in behalf of those people that we do know, like, and trust us, and those that we haven't met yet, because we know we can perform, and we're with companies that can stand behind us and we can stand in front of. And so I want to speak to that, though, as far as like the push, the effort, what you said with like the realtor talk, realtor mode rather. And I know she totally is being playful with that, but there are a lot of people out there. I've experienced this. So the first thing, when I started listening to Grant Cardone, the dude just spoke my language. I was like, who is this dude? Like,
he's real, dude. The dude is real. I mean, he's just a real dude. And it's like, look, this is me. This is what I'm going to tell you. Take it or leave it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's the same way I think you and I both are, is, so again, unapologetically yourself.
And informed, of course, right? Like we can speak this way, but like we are masters of our craft.
Yes.
We're not
just
back it up
ignorantly. You got to have proof. You got to have the numbers. Like I am a numbers person, to where if I'm walking in and I'm talking to somebody, I know exactly market, and specifically all the way down to micro, what it is for this 3-block radius and what it's going to be. And a lot of the time it doesn't work. A lot of the time people go, well, no, that's not what I've heard. 3 other people told me this, but I have every bit of statistics on my side that show, look, this is exactly what it is. So backing it up again is part of that presentation in the very beginning of managing expectations.
Yes.
So,
and I think an important part too, and I experienced this with you, not many people have it, in my opinion, in their I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah. In their arsenal, in their character, whatever it is. But I pride myself on trying to teach my team the same thing. And it hasn't always been the case, but and I even have it literally tattooed on my wrist. It says now, right? You can't say it backwards, but like what that means to me, that the time is always now, and that you must act now with confidence to settle whatever has been presented to you, or now you've created a story that didn't need to be written. If you don't have answers, in my opinion, we always have the answer right then. Maybe it actually takes a follow-up, but we have to tell that person asking the question with confidence, either the exact answer, or that, we have their back, or that we are in fact going to figure it out and call them right back and do that.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of people make shit up on the fly because they want to have an answer. But if somebody asks me something and I don't know the answer to it, first of all, I tell them, I'm shocked I don't know the answer to this, but guess what? In about 5 minutes, I'm going to have the answer for you, and it's going to be the truth.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit there and bullshit and lie to somebody. So I will go and find it, and I will get right back to you.
And that is the important part, to actually go back. Go back.
Communication, man. So many people are so shitty at communication in this business, and it is 90% communication is what manages every bit of expectation.
It might be 99%. I mean, just having a warm body is to communicate with is the other part. Because
5% is just being a likable person. So, which I think I kind of am. For most people, I don't know.
Hey, but and you know what? That's another kind of segue, because for a long time it did start with Grant Cardone, and then it went into coaching, and I started to feel it and know it. Is that it's totally cool to be yourself. For one, it is the power to be yourself, and it is totally cool if people do not like that, as long as you are being true to yourself and you're being, of course, you have a high level of integrity and whatever else within your situations. At least that's what I feel. But it's okay if they don't like you, and they will get out of the way. But more importantly, those that do like exactly who you really are, maybe it's because you swear and that makes them comfortable. For me, that makes me more comfortable. When people drop a shit or a fuck in there, I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Because I know I'm going to drop one. So
look, you gotta know your audience though, right? Like, that's,
100%.
again, Bible Belt, it's, my mom still goes, whoo, okay. And it's just who I am, man. It's just about me being authentic. Right.
Sure.
But isn't it so much better when you go home, and you realize it's just that you guys didn't click, and that's the reason you didn't get it, and it has nothing to do other than that? Because I look at it sometimes where I lose a listing and I go, thank God, I don't want to work with those people anyways. Like,
bingo.
That was hell.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Before
I couldn't imagine 30 days hanging out with these people and being a team. Nah, I don't think so. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No, it's like setting an expectation with somebody who speaks Chinese. You could be speaking the same language, but if you guys aren't vibing, this shit ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Like, it's, a lot of people will list culturally around here too, because we are a big melting pot. But I can walk into a different room too, and personalities can overshadow that.
Sure.
And just the way that, we get along. You got to know your audience, right? I mean, it's, your audience, but one thing I would tell anybody getting into this game is brush up on your psychology.
Yeah.
That will 100% get you to where you want to be if you can understand the psychology of the everyday person, right? So just the processes, the way that people react to certain things and certain stressors, it is, just, I think you should have a minor or a major in psychology to be in this damn business. And if you try to get in this business and your first reason for getting in this business is because I like people, guess what? You ain't going to like people after the first week.
It's true.
You are going to be like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So,
people suck, man. They're all
people are terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of the if not the biggest transaction somebody's going to make in their lifetime, right? So there's a lot of emotions that come with it. That's, again, where the psychology, you have to be yourself, but also manage those people. And that's going to come from your personality and how you deal with things. So a lot of people in this business just aren't cut out for it.
Yeah. And
it shouldn't be in it. I mean, just, if you're not doing a decent amount of business and going through this stuff right now where, you can be a contract employee and get unemployment, underemployment, and some, and file for those kind of things. Yes, they're going to look back at your previous business, but if your business, you're still not being able to take care of yourself right now, dude, maybe you shouldn't be in this business. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, that's essentially your ticket to look into another venture that's going to be successful.
Yeah, it didn't work out. That's okay. So.
Don't. There's a lot of different things that we won't go down that path, but
that's a rabbit hole, dude.
Yeah, it sure is. It's a different podcast. So one, for me too, the psychology in life for me has always been kind of a big deal. I didn't know how to grasp it and how to use it. And of course, just being a younger guy trying to find your way and do this and do that, like you get messed up on your own psychology, but you can't, in my opinion, really manage people unless you can figure out how to manage yourself. And that is not an easy thing to tackle especially when you think you're like, what do you mean? I totally am. Yeah. Well, obviously you're not, if that's the reaction, because it is an every minute, day, month, year. I mean, it is to be able to say, whoa, I'm off track, catch yourself and come back on track and see how the flow goes. That's a big deal. And it's a lot more fun. You can serve a lot better. You can make a lot more money. It all goes into the same thing because, and when I started, I've been doing this business for 18 years, right? I chased the money for a lot of it.
Right.
because I was young and I was like, that's what I'm doing. What are we doing? Why do we go to work? I'm getting money, right? And
Yeah,
it came to me and it went, and it was the peaks and valleys of sales. If
absolutely.
you don't have your
Absolutely.
real, genuine why, you will make money, and then you will have none, and then you will make, because you're just happening to be around when the market allows you to make some money.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
Well, when
now,
there's enough for more and more people to jump in, you
right.
get your cut there. But when things start strapping up and getting tight, what did you do during those times to set you up for kind of, we all talk about flattening the curve, right? During this thing, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I hear you. I'm with you.
And that's what I want to speak to. So just to kind of date the podcast here, we are still going through COVID, and Graham here, if you want to share, did actually experience it himself. So a testament to his character, a testament to his push. I'd say a testament to his clients, team, anybody that is interacting with him is working for you, right? They could have been out of a job if you don't continue to have some sort of progress while in a bed somewhere. And that's something I can identify with, being in the hospital and incapacitated. And
absolutely.
Can you provide for your family? And if you have people working for you, what are you doing to help them provide for theirs? So I want to find out from you. I'm seeing, dude, you're killing it right now. You're freaking killing it. Everybody else is at home figuring out how to get their unemployment check, how to figure out how to get back into their past client database and really ramp up as soon as this thing breaks. But you're out there still doing it. I don't see that there was really much of a downturn on your push or your production, for that matter. I've seen a couple houses recently go under contract. So obviously psychology plays a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But tell me how the psychology and what else has allowed you to truly be successful at a time when most are thinking it's impossible.
So first of all, being in the hospital, the attorney that I use, that I refer out all the time, Brian's amazing. And you're working, we're working with him on this. The guy's a hustler as well. You're a hustler. He's I've got a great group around me, and I look at it as my job to not only support for myself, to be able to push things you guys' way. I don't get shit for doing it, but it's because I have a genuine respect for you guys that I want to, and I want to help out. I want you to, look, I'm getting fed. Once you fed, it's all going to come back around. So we're all going to be gravy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Brian called it closing with COVID because I was in the hospital. My phone died. My cell phone died. I literally went into the hospital, had 30% battery left. I told everybody, quit fucking calling me, quit texting me, quit checking on me. I want to be able to communicate with my wife that way. Luckily, I wrote down her phone number because I know no one's phone number anymore. But I had the phone, just the regular landline in the hospital right next to my bed. And I'm sitting there, I've written down the numbers of my clients and all that. There was a time where somebody in the suit, like they had this 3M suit with this head thing. It's got a air thing that comes through. It's going, like providing them air in this mask. It looked like out of the movie Contagion, out of the movie E.T. with the plastic wrap, when they're going through. And I literally hold up my finger and go, hold on a second. And I'm out of breath, and I'm talking to these clients from LA going, we're going to get it done. And we're closing. Right? I mean, it's because it's because I care. I genuinely have a genuine care for everybody that I work with, because one, it makes me feel good to know that I got them the best deal, right? That I got them the most, that they've never had an experience like that with anybody else other than me. I think my unwillingness to give up during that time and knowing that I needed to provide still, it do something. My wife's got us covered though. Doesn't matter, man. That means she's going to make more than me. So that's going to piss me off. So I got to keep going. But doing that, but what's allowed me to continue my business during this time, dude, it's simply the fact of look around, take note, pay fucking attention. Like that is it. If you pay attention, you're going to know what to do. A lot of realtors, and I had a competing realtor who I'm getting ready to go to her listing, who they've called me and asked me like, hey, would you come and discuss about listing our home? It's currently still active, but they reached out to me going, we're looking and you've had six contracts in a matter of 3 days. You're rolling through these things. Can you come and tell us what's been wrong? And I'm going, yeah, I can tell you what's wrong. I can tell you before even hanging up this call, it's because the realtor's not paying attention to what's around. We have a real issue with a lot of realtors not paying attention to trends, okay? If we can study the trends, we all, think about this, history repeats itself, right? Okay, so if we have the statistical data, we know that during a certain time, it's always going to come back around, okay? Now, this is unprecedented. This is literally a time that we have never experienced. I haven't experienced in my life, right? Neither have you, neither have my parents even. But if we look at it, I look at it and go, okay, cool. So supply is down because people are freaking the F out. You still have people that are having to move around. But if those things are kind of shifting together, this was supposed to be a lot better year than last year because we're supposed to come out of that market correction. So, for 2 months, I've been sitting here saying, look, we're going to be just fine. And don't list your home until the end of March or April because people don't freaking write contracts until April or May because kids don't get out of school until June. Mm-hmm. So why are you listing your home in February and January? People are calling me now going, I wish we would have listened to you. We should have listed with you and we should have done it later. Yeah, but guess what? We're still going to be either off the market or just ready to get onto the market, which is later. It's the later push. It's all, again, psychology though. Thinking back to psychologically, what are people thinking right now? It's what allows me to go, okay, so here's how I proceed. Everybody gets stir crazy during the winter. We're in fucking Chicago, man. Like, it comes February, that's the reason everybody gets out and goes to open houses because they got the cabin fever. Yep. I can't stand this. We've all been in the house way too long. Like, we're stuck. We can get out and we can go and we can hang out with friends. We can go to restaurants. Well, guess what? We can't do that shit anymore. So if everybody's sitting at home, you've got all your kids at home, you've got multiple people working from home, that house that even during the winter times felt, it's manageable, no longer feels manageable, right? Everybody's going nuts. So we are going to see a lot of those people that are going to up buy, right? So it's a move up house. So as long as we're prepared for that kind of stuff, you can actually play the market to your advantage. Now, you still have to list correctly and you have to gauge the market and what people can spend. Because if we look at, if we just look at the stock market and everything else, right? I mean, I look at my portfolio, I'm still down 6% from where I was before all of this. But we saw a lot of that go down, but we also saw interest rates go down. When interest rates go down, dude, that is the perfect time for first-time buyers. They got more money to spend. And if you're anywhere in that first kind of starter home range, dude, you put a nice, sexy product out there, it's gone like that.
Yeah.
So, those interest rates primarily are for first or maybe second time home buyers. So when you see those things dip, if your client's asking, should I list? I'm going, fuck yeah, you should. Like, there's nothing that should be stopping you as long as we're priced correctly. And then we have a captive audience. Everybody's at home. You're at home. I'm at home. I'm sitting here with my moose head, right? Like, we're sitting at home. We've got nothing else to do right now other than look at the internet. So if we're looking at the internet, we feel like we're kind of cramped in here, then what are we going to do? We're going to look at homes. Everybody loves to look at homes. That's why HGTV does so well, because everybody wants to look at homes all the fucking time. So if that's all we're sitting here doing, you put a product out in front of somebody, you give them the ability to do a virtual walkthrough. Matterport is a great company that does that. Real Vision's a great company that does that. They can virtually walk through in a 3D setting, spin all the way 360 around, walk through that home and go, yeah, I like this thing. You're going to get more, less like looky-loos, tire kickers. You're going to get more interested buyers and people that are ready to pull the trigger like immediately. So it's packaging basically the marketing materials that I have. And I think nobody does it better, right? The company that I work for does a great job. I spend a lot of money on each and every listing. And the reason why I sell them faster and for more money than anybody is because I utilize those tools.
Yeah.
And so utilizing those tools, and if you didn't do it before, but you do it now, dude, it's miles above the rest because everybody else is throwing up those same photos that they've had up since the fall. And a lot of them are dated. If you're not having, your photographer come back out and reshoot stuff when it's showing stuff blooming and everything else, that makes people happy. If you still have the fall or the, there's some snow on the ground or it looks like everything's fucking frozen, that doesn't make people happy. So you got to play on those emotions too. I don't know. That's a ton of stuff, but
no, it's great.
It's paying attention. If you just pay attention, dude, you just pay attention to what's going on around you. You can do what you need to do.
And I want to tell again for the people that are listening, I can tell you from experience, Graham is not bullshitting you guys. And if you have an opportunity, take a look at his listings. They are impressive. Not only have you attracted, in my opinion, the perfect customers, right? Because you do have a certain level in like all the houses you list, I'm like, damn, I would buy that. Damn, I would buy that. They even seem to have similar styles, but they're super nice. The pictures
they're super nice. But they may be big, but a lot of them aren't. Like I have a nice niche range where, I know where my honey hole is. I know that everybody wants to go after these $1 million, $2 million listings. That's great. You could do 1 or 2 of those in a year. Fan-frickin-tastic. Knock yourself out. But if I'm going to do 30, 40, almost 50 in a year, and I'm doing them all between $400,000 and $650,000, guess what, man? I'm making a lot more bank. Like I'm good with that. And those are my people though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Those are the people I get along with.
Yeah.
The people, now there are some people, I still do have $1 million listings. They're harder to get rid of. And I say get rid of because that's what the seller would tell you. It's getting rid of, right? You're trying to sell that property. They take longer. There's more that goes into it. And I can still get that done. Man, I know where my bread and butter are.
Yeah.
And knowing that and knowing what I'm good with and knowing that those are the people that basically are like me, that have the same mentality, that are close to my age. I don't think anybody should have a real estate license if they're under 30 years old. Right. I don't think they've gone through the proper steps in life to be able to advise somebody on something like this. So, being 21 and going, great, you're 21, you can get your real estate license, great. So I disagree with the way that we allow people to get licensed for real estate. It's not helping people, and it's definitely not helping the customer out there. It's not servicing them well whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I agree. And here's a testament to the Corona. What? The at-home office. You say hi, Graham?
Hi, Graham.
Hey, sweetheart, how are you? Looking good.
Oh, say you look good. Can you show her your moose antlers? Watch him put.
Oh yeah, here, look, my moose antlers.
Look at that. Did you have a question for me?
Oh yeah.
What?
Where's the phone mark?
The what?
That thing that we take pictures.
Oh, the camera?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in the bag on the island. Okay.
What color is it?
It's in a gray bag. There's film already in it. So
COVID.
That's right.
Home, baby.
That's right. But you know what? I've been talking to a lot of people about this too. So like that would never happen, right? Or I'd be like, no, stop. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I see in talking to somebody who dealt with it, right? I've given a disclaimer to other people. I'm like, this is going to sound ignorant, but I've dealt with other, health ailments, and it's nothing to mess with. Yeah. And what you dealt with was nothing to mess with. But I haven't personally had it, of course, and anyone really close to me hasn't gone through it and been like really in dire straits. So what I say is without that experience, but this for me has been a gold lining because it has forced us to slow down, to connect with our families. As you and I talked about before, everyone's got a different dynamic in their family, right? Everyone's going through something different. 100%. This is pushing us to communicate, to cook family meals, to figure it out. And someone said the other day, they go, shit, isn't this really eerie? Like driving around, there's like, and I'm like, no, it feels like when I grew up. People are at home playing with their fucking families and their neighbors.
Dude, we all talk about like, we're all in this together. Nah, man, I was okay. I mean, I'm pretty much a homebody unless I'm out, working with a client or something. I'm totally cool with this. I'm having a great time. I mean, besides, going to CDH and being there and having a little, oxygen thing, I was like, once I got home, I'm like, nah, we're good. Like, let's roll. Like, this is normally what I do during the winter time anyways. When things shut down, dude, I'm a hermit. So we're not all in this together. We don't all feel the same way.
No.
I'm totally cool with being locked down.
Yeah. We're in this together in the sense we could pool resources, but you and I think are in a different group before COVID and after COVID. And I say that with humility, but it's to say, like, we have the psychology, we have the mindset that the sun is out, the sky is blue, it's not falling on our heads. It's a good day, man. And it could go away tomorrow. So fucking live in it and like it and love it and spread it, like it's good.
Look, I've been relying on the fact that for months I've been saying we're going to have a hell of a market coming out of this thing, especially locally in this area. And then you have Yahoo Finance that comes out with an article saying that, never mind, it's not going to be doomsday with the housing market after. And then NAR and everybody else finally wises the fuck up and says, oh yeah, we're going to have less inventory. We actually should have a pretty good, what should have been a spring market that's just been postponed to a summer market, right? And I'm sitting there going, why was everybody freaking out? Like, just look around. Again, it's paying attention.
Yeah.
But, I look back on that and I sit there and go, dude, there ain't nothing wrong. This is not going to be 08, 09 to 2012 again. Like, it's like, everybody relax. Like, look around. We're not there. People, yes, are losing their job. Dude, there's some crazy stuff and it's not fun. But we're not looking at the mass fall off. If we look at the markets, they're rebounding, right? They're coming back and we'll continue to grow in that. We're not seeing what we saw then.
No.
So just chill the fuck out.
Yeah. From the lender's perspective, and I could speak to this too, and I tell everybody all the time, even tell my team, I'm like, dude, guys, make more phone calls because we are the light right now, because we have the facts and everybody else is listening to the media and it's really bad stuff. It always has been, but now it's like more specific to them or what they think. And so what I tell people is, one, if you are thinking like it's going to happen, like the market fell out, the bottom fell out before the bubble broke. The values aren't going anywhere, and maybe they are in the higher, like, your million, right? Your 2 million, they have to flex a little bit more.
Dude, they were for the past 2 years, though.
Right.
It's not a shocker.
Correct. Correct.
So, yeah.
But the market, the real estate market has not been built on bullshit loans. It hasn't been built on phantom loans.
Yeah.
People are committed. They are invested. They have all, with the exception of veterans and doctor loans, they have all put in some money on these deals. Even so, like, someone told me, shit, that's really scary. I might have told you about it. We have a program. I don't know that it's available right now, but it was 25% down, no doc, no questions asked, essentially. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. Why? That's ridiculous. And I'm like, well, really? Because the bank's getting their money on the front end. You got to give them 25%. You walk away, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. And they sell it right away for a cheap price and they're totally good. So, like, that's a good loan for somebody who's out there, and you're gonna front load them. You're gonna repay them basically 10 years right up front with the down payment. That's not a bad loan. So even these off loans, they're solid. You're not going to see a bunch of default. People have been not put through the ringer, but they have been legitimately qualified by way of documentation to get a regular loan. If you want that loan and not provide documentation, you got to give us a whole lot more money up front. So I hope that people understand, or if they've gone through a process, like, it's not an easy one, it's not hard, but they do make you give a lot of documentation, and they should. You're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Dude, if we don't want to repeat kind of what happened and you don't want to be shit out of luck, then just offer up the docs, right? Like, what do you, I mean, you shouldn't have anything to hide. So what's it matter?
Correct.
So just jump through the hoops to make sure that you're secure, because guess what? If you're not secure and a lot of other people aren't because they're not going through, all this stuff, well, then you're kind of putting yourself and setting yourself up for failure there. So, yeah.
Right. Well, Graham, I mean, you've been fantastic, man. A lot of really good information on here. A lot of good information. If there is anybody out there, be it a realtor, be it anybody listening to this, could be a consumer, could be another lender, whatever. If they are listening to this and they want to get in touch with you, pick your brain, or just kind of check you out a little bit, how can they do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Google me. I got no idea, man.
You got a phone number? You got a website?
Dude, so I love Facebook. This is so weird, right? But my Facebook, my personal regular. So if you want to know about me and you want to know, like, hey, look, it's a client, and you want to know, is this somebody I would like possibly to work with? I would tell you, go to my Facebook first, find me, look at me, because it's public. I don't hide anything. So what I'm putting out there is what interests me and who I am. Then if maybe, you know, that sounds like something that's a vibe, email me, G Allen. So Graham, like the cracker, G Allen at AT Properties, G Allen at Properties. And just email me. We can start a conversation. We can do, I've been doing a lot of these Zoom things, man. And it's so much better than over the phone because this is how I dress for even a listing presentation. I'm going, this is how I was going to be when I walked into your home anyway. This is not what sells your home. So, you know, look me up on Facebook, man. That's a lot of the thing. I mean, I've done all the shows, HGTV shows. I've done all those kind of things. And everybody, it's either Facebook or it's like through what's the work one?
Instagram. Oh, Facebook. What? Instagram
No, LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
Oh, Jesus.
I never check LinkedIn. So
dude, you're right though. If someone wants to see who you are, you go to LinkedIn and it's like,
dude,
here's my resume and shit. Then you go to your Facebook and there's you in 70s shorts with your hairy legs hanging out in a basketball. It's like, oh, that's that dude.
Yeah, you want to know who you're dealing with. You want to know them on a personal level, right? Yeah. Another realtor, dude, hit me up through there. I love conversations. I don't mind having, you know, my wife is very non-confrontational, which I love, but I'm very confrontational. I don't mind, you know, discussing things in different points of view. It doesn't bother me. And, you know, I can go on my merry way. You can go on yours, and we can still be great friends. Like it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But dude, Facebook, man, like just hit me up on there. Yeah. And then, you know, from there, just we roll.
Right. Well, hey, Graham, man, I can't thank you enough, dude. And you know, I really am grateful for, you know, you trusting me with your business most recently. It really does mean a lot. And, you know, I'm standing in my basement and you just saw my dog. That's how real it is for me though. And I do attach these relationships, those transactions as an ability to buy this microphone, right? To do this thing, to have a basement, you know, to have, you know, a kid that's smiling because she doesn't have a concern aside from what toy am I going to play with or what am I, you know, going to do outside.
Where's the picture thing and what color bag is it in?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can just jam more shit in this bag and carry it over there to my babies, whatever it is. And that's cool with me because that's my why. I didn't know before, why am I in mortgages? It was, and it sounds like you in closing here, we were provided by our parents a safe place to go out, to fail, to win, and to come back and to talk about it and to do whatever else we had to do in those four walls to figure out who the fuck we are and how to be respectful and be a human in society. So that's my why. I know it is yours. Like what we've been talking about is to serve and to do right by the client by pretty much any means necessary within integrity and in the sale.
Yeah, ethically. And, you know, as far as integrity, I don't want anybody ever questioning my integrity or my ethics, right? Everything is above board. Everything, you know, we're always going to stay above that line. We're not going to get close 100%. To it. But, you know, I mean, like you said, I was allowed to fail, but I was only allowed to fail if I gave it everything I got and I didn't quit.
Of course.
That's it.
Yeah, and by fail, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the effort is good and letting you know, like, it's okay to fail. You didn't win. You feel that? You don't want to feel that? We got to work. Let's go to work, man. Well, go in the back. That would be my days. Like, how's that feel? You want to feel that?
No,
go to work.
It's competitive nature, man. You want to win.
That's right.
Coming in second doesn't feel good. Losing sucks. So,
but you have to come in second, man. We could probably go on for another
lessons and lessons.
But the power is in the contrast. You know, everything happens for a reason. For me, I was in the hospital. I was thinking about stuff. For you, you were in the hospital.
Yeah.
It reinvigorates you. If you come out the other end, you have had time to sit with your thoughts and the narcotics that they've given you and think some crazy shit. And then in the middle of it, like, who's showing up? What is in the tank for me? How do I look after this thing? How do I appreciate more? Where do I show more gratitude? And how do I go and lift a couple more people up? Because being here sucks. And when I'm ready to run again, I'm fucking sprinting through this thing.
It's clarity, man. It's clarity. Like for me, there was literally no one allowed. There was no one in the room. I'm on an entire floor of people who are infected with minimal staff. So you have nothing but a TV with shitty programming in a hospital and nothing else. So there's a lot of clarity that comes with that, which can be, like you said, a gold, not just a silver lining, but a gold lining during this kind of time. So
I'll leave this as the golden nugget. You've been saying it, to look around. I even tell people this too. I think the power is in the contrast, right? You get deals and they go in, they go out, boom, boom, you get paid. That's great. It is good. Fantastic. But you learn so much when maybe something goes a little off, and you've had to have a communication and contact with people. So I tell everybody, show up, have the communication, right? Have the integrity, have the whatever you want to say to be yourself and to deliver the message, not the good news, bad news. Deliver the message that has been handed to you, that it is your responsibility to serve your client, and go over there and do that. So I tell people the power is in the contrast, and you say, look around. I say the same thing. If you trip and you fall, look around while you are down on the ground. You are there for a reason.
Toughest transactions are my favorite transactions. Like there's shit to go through, but when you come out the other side, you've got another tool in your toolbox that you know how to use it when, right? So it's just look around, pay attention. That's it. Learn. Always
something to learn. You just got to look and make sure that your focus is on the right things. You're asking the right questions to the right people. Because the answers could steer you in either the right direction for a whole long time, or you might have some ground to regain. So again, Graham, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And look forward to talking again soon. Happy to see you're healthy, man.